Miraculous Ladybug is a French CGI superhero animated series produced by Zagtoon and Method Animation and first debuted in 2015 to critical acclaim, with the show praised for its diverse range of characters, its charming narrative, and its inspirational message. It's won a number of awards and inspired a thriving community online, which produce all manners of fan creations. Now, I'm part of this fandom, and I've made videos discussing the show before. However, recently I found myself slipping away from the show and becoming more and more frustrated before and after watching episodes. So I decided to sit down and think about why is that the case, and I came up with a number of reasons. First up, the release schedule. Most people when they watch TV want one of two things, either a regular schedule of releases or a full season release to binge watch. Miraculous Ladybug struggles to deliver on either of these fronts. Now let's take a look at Season 1. On this list we can see it starts out all fine and dandy, regular releases throughout September and October, a little blip on the radar for November, but that's okay. They must just be working on kinks. A little jump to January, but that's alright, maybe they're struggling over the Christmas period, that's pretty forgivable. And then back-to-back regular episodes over March. Season 1 set pretty lofty expectations for how regularly episodes would release. Despite pretty wacky international release schedules jumping between Korean and French, it was all pretty good. Season 2 was where the wheels began to fall off. We started off with a Christmas special where everyone inexplicably sings about their feelings. And then, almost an entire year of waiting for any sort of follow-up. From there, episode releases became a bit more consistent again throughout Season 2 and 3, although they're still perpetually plagued by delays and episodes are released in weird orders and in different languages, which makes it hard to piece together the story. In Season 1, the story was pretty bare bones and the episodes stuck to a basic format. Problem arises, victim gets akumatized, villain monologues, adults get outsmarted by teenagers, Ladybug and Cat Noir save the day, Hawkmoth looks like an idiot. Throughout the season we get bits and pieces of information about the Miraculouses, Hawkmoth's motives, Master Fu, and character traits of the main cast, and that was fine for the opening season. It was more to introduce us to the world and explain who the characters are and how we should feel about them. This wasn't the time for huge character arcs and development because frankly, who cares enough at this stage? Season 2, we start to feel a little samey. Despite assurances from the creator that there'd be no more filler, there was still a number of episodes that seemed to feel just like that. Filler, with almost no development in these episodes. However, that was pretty much counteracted by the episodes that did have development. Episodes where we'd find out the motivations behind Hawkmoth's actions, meet new love interests, see new heroes join the Miraculous team. But come Season 3, nothing's really changed at all. Story progression has stalled. The will they won't they dynamic between Marinette and Adrian is becoming really played out, and adding more heroes into the mix when the development for the main cast is struggling is a band-aid solution. We'll coo about the new transformations and the pretty colours and the costumes and the catchphrases, but in the end, it's a symptom of the primary problem the series has. Thomas Astrak. Look, I'm not here to just bash this dude. He receives a heap of abuse, some warranted, some not, for the state of the show and the way he interacts with fandoms and criticism of his work. But something really needs to change with this guy. Narratively, it feels like the show is stuck in a holding pattern. For almost 3 full seasons, we've seen the main characters receive what appears to be character-defining and plot-changing development, only for it to all be forgotten by the next episode. Now, this is most clearly seen for Chloe and Marinette. They'll work through their negative qualities in an episode, realize they were wrong, only for that to be completely ignored in the future. It feels like the show is being held in place until this big reveal occurs where Ladybug and Cat Noir discover the other's true identity, which initially would be fine for a 1 or 2 season show. But these characters debuted in 2015, and for 4 years we've watched them stay exactly the same. I realise it's a kids show, but that doesn't mean a kids show should shy away from character development. I mean, Big Bird learned about death in Sesame Street. It feels like the popularity of the show was maybe slightly unexpected by the creators, and now they just refuse to adapt the direction that fans want to see. Yes, the overall story is likely mapped out, and it would be ridiculous to change that up, but changing up episode styles, adding lasting consequences stemming from different episodes, and ramping up the narrative pace can all be achieved without sacrificing the overarching creative vision. By putting their heads in the sand, the creative minds behind the show risk both alienating fans and derailing future seasons. And look, I'm not saying the show is at risk of cancellation or that it's going to dive bomb in ratings in future seasons or anything like that, but I do think the finished product will be looked back on less favourably than it could have been if these problems were addressed earlier.